playing squash is very important to me. It keeps me in great shape. It's good for my social life. I get to travel, many, many positives. But the work outside of the court is equally, if not more important.
Yeah.
The time in the gym, strengthening your joints, your tendons, your ligaments, everything like that, so you can handle the hard squash sessions. Doing enough flexibility work so that if you get into any compromised positions on the court, you're able to bear through it. You have the flexibility to be able to handle those deep lunges and everything like that. You need to be doing the saunas regularly for heat conditioning, but also for recovery.
Yeah.
There's many things, trigger balling, hips, stuff like that going, seeing massage therapists. The list goes on and on and on. Having a good diet, taking the right supplements. There's so much that goes on outside of the court as well as in the court.
Yeah.
And then to go even deeper into that, there's on-court and off-court work, and then there's your squash game, but then there's your inner squash game.
Oh,
right?
okay.
So your outer squash game is how I'm hitting the ball, my opponent, my tactics, all the things in the physical world. But then the inner squash game is those emotions and the things that you're feeling and how you can keep those in check. And that is just as important as your outer game, because you can be the best in the training room, you can be hitting the best balls ever, but you get nervous before the game and it's toast. You go all floppy and you can barely play. Right?
Yeah.
So that's when meditation, that's when yoga, that's when breath work, that's when manifestation or whatever it is that you do to ground yourself is so important. And then you be on your way to the flow state then, which is not something that I've necessarily achieved, but I've had flashes of being in the flow state, and it's something that I'm working towards, I would say. Yeah.
And I think that's what separates you from other coaches out there, where it's more holistic.
That's right.
You're talking about not just the physical aspect, but talking about the mindset.
Yes.
And the heart set.
Yes.
Which
doing the inner work.
The inner work.
Yes.
Which is, I guess, how I've always tried to look at things in everything I do, not just the end results and the outcomes, the tangible outcomes, the physical output, but how am I feeling,
Yes.
Am I feeling joy? Am I feeling happy?
Yeah.
Am I getting triggered? How am I reacting, to those triggers? Am I still calm in a chaotic moment?
Yes.
So I think that's what separates you from everyone else. You actually look into all aspects, and like I would say if more professional athletes, NFL players, NHL players, NBA players, and all of that learned meditation, learned breath work, even though they think it's woo and a bit soft.
Yep.
UFC fighters, I think that will take them to the next level.
Yes.
I read a book about BJJ. Hoist Gracie wrote a book, The Art of Flow, Breath.
Yes.
And he said his secret weapon was not technique or his strength. It was learning how to control his breath.
Yes.
And how to remain calm in amidst of all the chaos going around him. He was working on the physical aspects, on the diaphragm and lung capacity, but he was also just the mental and emotional, not panicking at those crucial moments. And the book was fantastic. It was probably the fastest book I ever read.
Yep.
BJJ, one of the legendary fighters in the world.
Yep.
Talking about how important breathwork was.
Yes.
Absolutely. And which is managing your emotions.
Yes, definitely.
No.
And managing your emotions and just building that mental strength and resilience.
Yeah.
And you ask anyone, any top athlete, and you say, what's the difference between top 20 in the world and top 1 in the world? And it's always mentality, right? It's just your beliefs, and how you can control your emotions, right?